Good evening, guys and gals and non-binary pals. Tonight, we have everybody's favorite trashy marsupial, Possumorpheus versus the wild, hyped up on caffeine, coffees, and chocobo. Tonight, our team consists of NG Dave rolling the seat and doing the restreaming, Frankie Bones doing the tracking, and my co-commentator, Deathlike. How's it going?
Going well. I mean, if the beginning of this series wasn't close enough, I'm sure this will be just as well. I'm just happy it's a Porum start because my favorite gal will probably be sticking around, and we'll have some exit shenanigans while we're here.
Oh, definitely. Both these runners, I mean, game one, game two, they put on one heck of a show going back and forth. I mean, on one side, you have the person, Possum, someone who likes to play things, more towards the odds, a little closer to the vest, not really making any gambles. And on the other side, you got Coffees and Chocobo, who kind of goes in his own path, maybe makes some, quote unquote gambles, some off plays. When you get to this tier of players, you have to do something to kind of get an edge on your opponent. If you don't feel like you can beat your opponent in a straight race, you kind of have to do something just a little bit off the beaten path that your opponent might take to kind of get that edge up.
Yeah, but that also means to be aggressive and decisive. Both of these runners know exactly what they do under pretty much any various situations. So when it's, even if the start gives you a hook, well, you still do all the things you're planning to do and then some. So they very very well versed in what they want and where they want to go, and know exactly what they will preferably go. And I think it's gonna be like this one small decision that might be what we categorize as maybe it's a slightly different. That might be the difference, but it'll be self-evident, but it's not going to be immediate. As a lot of the early part of the matches, they're going to do all the same stuff, but when it comes time, that difference in the middle towards the end, that one difference will probably be the thing that defines who wins this match.
Yeah, and we have a starting Porum, so we definitely have an early exit caster. You have a trade-off. Either you have early exit or you have a bit of extra strength gaining with the rows between the two starting characters. And looks like we got a starting Rydia with us, so we'll see who if we decide to keep her or she decides to be our ever so wonderful anchor. Nothing too grand in the starting kit. We do get a starting Rat Tail.
Well, it's a forced hook seed, so we're probably gonna trade that in before doing anything underground. Well, I suspect that our runners will probably not take on any fight. Normally, you'd see some routing where you see probably both of them go to Eblin, loot it, but not take on the trap chest. I think if you've seen any of the other races, there's a tendency to try to loot the last trap chest, the Mad Ogre's chest. But in this case, with the starting party comp, that is probably not going to happen. So we're probably going to see the fate that more.
Let's take a look here. We started off with 10 handbands that chat's mentioning, and I kind of miss it because our runners are just so fast in the menu. But it all depends on the gear that you get in Adlin. If you don't have anything that's anti-mage that you can stay alive with to take on those Mad Ogres, it's kind of a little harder to deal with that because you need at least either a Rune Ring and an Aegis Shield and some type of high defense armor, so like Dragoon or Diamond, to kind of be able to take those hits with any of these characters. And if we have any of that, then it's more than likely probably our first major check is going to be everybody's favorite, Doggo.
I think that's definitely on the table. I would still think Hobbs might still be on the table too, in the sense that at least if you're looking with the starting characters, you probably want another character just in case you decide Rydia is going to be the anchor. It's having low HP doesn't really allow for wanting to be kept. So I think there's so Coffee Chocobos is deciding to do some extra looting. And it makes a little sense here.
So here's my counter argument to that. We found Leviathan in Evelyn. That makes really a much more viable character, even with her low HP growth. If we don't find an Edge, a Fu, or even a DKC, I mean, even Palom, we have a sweeper for those terrible trap chests in Sylph with that Leviathan. And that would give us very early game power. If we get rid of some levels, Leviathan only casts, was it 40 or 50 MP? Give her a couple levels and she can definitely do some damage with that.
Yeah, it's kind of obviously it's not she's not Palom, but the MP cost for having a Leviathan is pretty high, so it will take a fight. So Possum, as knowing that you having the orbs, you still have to get her levels in. So Hobbs is a decent entry point. Sometimes you'll see runners go for Antlion, but I think Hobbs is a solid place, and plus you get a character that you probably want, so you have choices. You have a choice of white mages, so that's a plus.
Possum's always said he usually waits to do Antlion, especially if he has a Porum in the party, to do it until he has exit on that Porum. So he's someone who's going to be doing Hobbs, Fabul, Flame Dog, something to get enough experience to get that exit to make the leaving of Antlion just a tad bit faster, if it's an item that we need to keep in there.
Yeah, it's a popular thing to do Antlion a little bit later when you have exit availability is a thing. You have to consider how long it takes to walk out. It's not that long a walk, but it's still a walk nonetheless. So
it's not that long a walk. It's about a 30-second walk, and some of these races have been decided with less than 30 seconds.
Yeah,
seconds matter when it comes to these races.
So it's a thing to be done a bit later. So probably after clearing out Evelyn, coming back, possibly. But there are other things more challenging, and you really just need the XP. Probably could still do it like with a Radia. If Porum wasn't starting, it was a Rosa start. You could probably warp out of the cave. It's not too bad. And that would be an option to take if you had like a Rosa Radia start. That would be a thing to do. But it's a Porum start, so probably just wait for the guaranteed exit and do the normal things. Just go through Fabul. I think judging from this flex up, maybe we'll see an Ordeals, or we're just gonna go straight to Baron Inn.
Well, it's hard to say with the direction Possum's going. There's usually a couple fades in these flag sets to kind of keep up that you're more or less gonna do. And it's usually the ones that are the longer checks in the long run, which is Baron Inn, Ordeals, and Zot. The biggest thing with those checks, there's a lot of boss encounters in there. If we've already found the gauntlet, they become less appealing to do unless they're actually required. So it's happened in the past. I mean, Ordeals could be required, and Coffees and Chocobos could go there and gain a leg up on Possum very easily. But we'll have to see what happens.
I mean, with the levels not gone from Possum, like Coffee Chocobos team survived that fight, and got the XP where Possum just had Porum survive, might be probably more incentivized to do Mount Ordeals, or at least Zot, just for the XP. I mean, the longer Radia is not gaining any levels, the less potent Leviathan becomes, while still doing lots of damage. But the early levels are the most important ones, and if she's still not getting any levels, then she's just not gonna contribute, and that makes the kind of the power that's needed be drastic difference.
And we definitely see the difference here. Coffee's got the experience on Radia from Hobbs. Possum didn't. Possum got to the fight first, and Coffee's is just on his tail.
We
Both
picked up.
getting that Gungnir Spear.
I think the Dragon Sword is better. I think the Dragon Sword is a more interesting thing. You got at least a piece of the anchor tool set. You want
Yeah, I mean, on average, we're probably going to have at least, a Drain Sword or a Dwarf Axe, one of the two, if not both. And that's generally going to be the most agility anchoring you're going to need is the -10. If you find a Drain Spear, you're super happy about that. Because you really don't care about agility anyways.
Yeah, we don't have cursed rings in this flag set, if I'm not mistaken. So so having any sort of mostly your agility reduction is going to come from your weapons. So it's a small set, and it's at least plentiful because regular treasure chests, the untrapped ones, will be up to tier 5, capped at tier 5. So the chances that we're going to get the item we need to have proper anchoring will be more, at least likely, in replacing the absence of a cursed ring.
Yeah, we had the ring Possum going up, as everybody's been calling it lately, the Accursed Mountain ordeals. I'm actually curious on his thought process for this particular play. I know he's mentioned in the past he's not one to do in early ordeals, but maybe with this party with the Rydia and Leviathan thinks I can get through this pretty quickly. I don't feel so bad about it. And I really want some experience on this party for that AoE from Leviathan.
Looks like Rosa is going to be the anchor for Possum just as well. I think at this point, maybe at least for now, I'm sure both the runners are hoping for a full party, but at some point, so that we could probably slingshot Rosa at some point.
We get a legend sword from Antlion, so Antlion does have a piece of one of our objectives.
Hey, see the warp? See, it's just a couple warps. That's quick enough. It's probably still longer than exit, but probably cuts off for like 10 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, it cuts off enough time to be worth it. One of the two, either exit or warp, you're still gaining time over walking.
I think warp for Rydia is much lower level. It's like 12 or 13, so that's why it was very accessible. Whereas if it were a Palom, that would be like level 28, 29. Yeah, it's a high
29
level.
Ask me about warp. I know Palom learns warp at 29. Rydia learns it at 12. I know all about the warp spell.
Sounds like you've went into the LST and had to warp out at least once or twice.
Not so much the LST, but didn't have warp for Dwarf Castle when the warp punch was on.
Yeah, and it's not enabled in this flag set. But yeah, if that were a thing in this flag set, oh yeah, that you'd count your levels for Palom for sure. Rydia probably don't have to worry about it unless it's like she joins. She joins as part of your party, like at the in between fights, which is probably not enough.
Yeah, we've got a tower key from Bedward, and Coffee's just going up and checking Flame Dog right after. Possum taking care of that Dr. Luge. Yeah, we'll see what we get here for more deals. We haven't found the hook yet, so we still have Evelyn Trap Chest and a little bit of Baron here and there. So still looking for that way underground.
I mean, at some point you'll bump into it, whether you realize it or not. So this is it's interesting. I think I'm sports asking Possum, but I'm sure that the early deaths in the Mount Hobbs fight is probably what drove him here. But I could be wrong. And hey, it's not panic mode because it's not because darkness does not gate the hook, so we don't have to go to the moon. We're good. That means that it's probably behind trap chests, whatever is in Eblin, or the Baron Inn.
CNC just took that Flame Dog on. Looks like got the hook from Flame Dog.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
so you bring up the we can't get underground via the Darkness Crystal, and at this particular point, we've got the tower key. In reality, there's only the Luca key and Pan out on the table right now that could be on the moon that would give us the magma key. So this kind of gives us a little bit of information here, finding this darkness crystal on the overworld, going, hey, you have a higher chance of a magma key being underground. So that kind of shrinks down where you can find an objective.
Yeah, those are kind of the rules. You got to get darkness from the underground. You can only get darkness. I don't forget the rule. There's so many different
crystal rules. The magma key has to be via the underground, no matter what. Looks like we got an edge here, Baron in with a ruby. Apostle raising up the crystal there. So what we're talking about with the whole logic here is that with the force hook flag enabled, even if you find the darkness crystal, your logical required way underground is via the hook. You will never find the magma key at the darkness crystal that's on the overworld, or anything you get from that darkness crystal, unless it is something that is done underground. And those are limited to what they are. So it's Luca key, Tower key, Pan. There's only 3 things that could be on the moon that could give you that magma key.
Yeah, there's also some boss logic behind that as well. But I think Possum is definitely going to the moon, trying to collect the character, if it's hopefully not a dupe, but mostly try to get the leg up on the hairdryer's chest, because when you see that power jump from doing the hairdryer's chest, you're guaranteed that all your characters will have some decent spells like Berserk, and it will not be the same kind of challenge taking on the Ebling Castle trap chest at that point. So Possum is certainly gonna take at least a shot at the hairdryers. Probably there should be some tools available to him to make that fight easier, and Quake Hit appears.
We got a Kraken. So we do have an early Quake cast. So we have Rydia right now, and as long as Porum has Blink, we've got Porum with Blink. We can blink up Rydia to be able to survive any hits from the hair dryers. There's also an option for a very early eyeball check on the Giant. It's very free with the starting star bells that we have. You can just reflect back the magnet onto himself, and he becomes frozen.
Frozen in time. But so I'm not sure if this is going to be a difference maker. Especially this is kind of a major deviation, given that Coffee and Chocobos isn't likely to last location to mount our deals, and might be something. But Possum, I think, is looking for a specific battle.
Nope. He was setting up his party. He was basically flooring Rosa there, because he's going to summon Leviathan to take out the 4 hair dryers, and doesn't want Rosa alive. And with this party step, there's no turn for somebody to do that. So his turn order is going to be Rydia's going to go first. He's going to cast Leviathan, and then Porum's going to turn around and cast Blink on that Rydia. And there's just
that's not even getting the chance to do it. So she has to survive the attack, and there's some RNG luck. So I think the most important character actually needed to get off the spell. So I think that was sheer very fortunate. Didn't have to be forced to reset, because if he had to revive Rydia, probably wouldn't even get the second shot off. So, but that is a key item. Yeah.
That is an adamant rock. So when Possum goes to do Antlion, he's gonna have instant forge when getting underground. That is huge. Because at this point, if you find Magma Key and Gauntlet on the Earth, you don't have to go back to the moon. You don't have to do Cave Value, unless wherever the Earth Crystal and Twin Harp are. But there's a chance. Doesn't have to go back to the moon.
I think they'll still be going back to the moon just to finish off with Cave Value. I think I think this be. Ideally you want to end with a. If you don't have to do it, great. But if it ends up that you have you want to aim for ending up with K value as the last thing you want to do. I think there's I mean, like if you don't have to do the LS, if you have do the LST, that's great. But I think you want to aim for that. If you don't have to do it, great. But I mean, all Gauntlet at large can be anywhere and can be behind package, so it might not show up in a more convenient in a way, especially for routers who will route a lot more for convenience, and package is typically out of the way. So I think if you just aim for it to be the last thing to do, that's not the worst thing. At least when you go back to the moon, you'll be doing that first before doing anything else.
It looks like CNC finished up with Evelyn. Looks like we got our pink tail. I know we got picked up a rune axe from the edge somewhere. Didn't see much else there in the loot for those trap chests, so. You know, Possum's getting his edge. Taking on Kenazo here. Always a great sight to see Kenazo out of the way early on. Don't have to worry about him, you know, being a good old 65,000 health element spot. Guarding the gauntlet.
That's when it's an actual tsunami. It's not even like a wave, it's a tsunami. It's a real tsunami at that point.
Yeah, it's a huge tsunami. You're just like, oh no, this is gonna hurt. So also noticing that he's got very limited to where his underground access is gonna be.
Gonna be much easier time at this point. I mean, but this Chocobo is literally at this point fading Mount Ordeal's part, and that at some point might kind of bite. I mean, it's not the ideal place where your darkness crystal is, but it's just one of those things that I'm willing to bet if you ran this same seed the front 10 times, you would probably get this off result maybe two out of 10 times, just because of based on the starting characters and how they survived the very first fight in Mount Hobbs.
Yeah. And so we come back to where we originally were talking about, like making an off the beaten path choice early on or even later to kind of gain a leg up, and Possum did that with Ordeal's play. Yes, it has the darkness, and with our knowledge here, the adamant being on the moon, darkness crystal is required to complete the seed. So it all comes down to when Coffees and Chocobos checks Ordeal's. Is it going to be a last location for him? Is he going to do all of Sylph and all of these other checks? Where Possum goes, well, I've got darkness, cool, I can check until I'm down to just one more objective, and there's a blue robe on the hook route.
It could still be Water Hag. It's still at large, so it's half and half.
Yeah, 50-50 here. Did Dave roll a quick one for tonight?
Could be. I don't know. I mean, these runners will make any seat look like a jet seat, so I don't. It's not. David can't be, not necessarily at fault, but I'm wondering if the dice rolled a certain way. Maybe you had to handle it. I don't know.
Be handling this? No, no way, not me. I have rolled terrible seeds for myself.
Yeah. And there'll be some more fights down the road for Tough Job being the 4 Mad Ogres fight. Shouldn't be too bad. I mean, now with Bahamut having a lot better chance at getting through that magic defense, as Mad Ogres have essentially behemoth level magic defense. It's basically one off the possible maximum, so it's 254. And Leviathan can give quad damage, but it's not Blarg level. That's why we see Bahamut all day, every day, whenever you can get it. It's just for these types of enemies.
Yeah, and it's basically an AoE nuke is what it is. When you think of the summons in relation to the single spells that the black mages have, I mean, the biggest ones we always think about are Virus, Quake, and Nuke. Well, Leviathan's right around the power of Virus and Quake there. Still pierce high magic, but not as much as Virus falls off right quick.
Yeah, Virus definitely falls off very quick. No, Leviathan has a spell power of 280, so it's slightly under White, but much stronger than Quake. That's why it has more than enough spell power to damage high magic defense enemies, but but you're more likely to see like triple digit damage than anything. And this is not a good time, and Possum is definitely gonna have a heads up, like, because you see that at King Queen Evelyn, a spot where it doesn't punch, but for spots that don't punch, they don't get bounced, and when they don't get bounced, they punch really hard.
This DKC. This is why he's called Pain Man. This spot's going to hurt very much. I think if I remember correctly, the damage is around 300 a wave.
If you can get a Cure 2 potion off, that's all you're hoping for. No.
Okay, it's more. It's 500.
It hurts.
Yeah, that's pain.
Yeah, this is kind of like the horror that is this spot with this particular boss. It's like Kinazo at CPU. It's a bad time, and this is one of those moments where Coffee Shop might reconsider. This is like a grind, but
yeah, this is trying to encounters get just a little bit extra levels to make at least one other party member survive. And actually, this is generally the actual grind fight here on the hook route, because that sorcerer in the back will actually resummon Blademan all day long. So Coffee Struggle is going to be able to just grind as much as he wants in this particular fight. You can only experience it once.
There's only a certain types of monsters that can be summoned. I don't know all the ones in this formation, but I'm sure there's one is a Mad Ogre, Blademan. Sometimes it's the Black Cat. I know there's some dragons that can be summoned, but I don't think this floor has it. I think it's like one of the upper two. No, lower two actually, because you're going down from the tower Babel from this side. So this is just Blademan. This is not free, but it's safe enough that you get your grind done as long as you have some levels. So this is
we've got wee woo woo. We've got self. We've got healing. That's fine.
It's safe enough, but it's one of those things where you start with a weaker party. Yeah, we have an edge, but he needs the HP. He's not a Sid. He's not a Yang who gain astronomical amounts of HP like really quickly. So,
or any of the other characters like Paladin, Cecil, or Kane have a bit of a higher HP growth than Edge. I mean, you think about the archetype that they are. I mean, ninjas, they kind of stay in the background. They don't take damage like the tanks of Sid, Young, and all those other characters.
Yeah, so right now it's kind of a panic grind where Possum doesn't have to do this. So it is pretty likely that when Possum reaches this point, he's already ahead just based on knowing where the darkness crystal is. It's kind of one of those how long will it take to realize, like, once Coffee Chocobos realizes darkness is at Mount Ordeals, it's like that timer is gonna set in really like right then and there, but that asserts that Possum does his normal thing, and unfortunately, in just due to the circumstances, Possum isn't doing normal Possum things.
No, he's not, and this is what comes with the game 3. You played your game 1 and 2. You kept yourself in the fight, but now it's time to kind of be a little aggressive and make sure that you make it on to the next round. And I think the other thing that gives Possum here a little bit of advantage is, yes, it's a Darkness Crystal, but it's a 5th character as well. That's another thing that's huge, is having a 5th character.
Yeah, that also allows for the slingshot to happen. I don't know who's still going to be the anchor. I forget. I haven't paid attention too much, but it's going to still be Rosa, I guess.
Yeah.
You want 2 offensive black mages. It's fine. You're not or you can make one of the mages a berserker, probably pour him, and just call it a day. I mean, this is more than enough offense for the Z fight. If whichever way, you get enough levels to cast to do reflex strats, or just let them punch at it.
It seems you're taking on Pain Man again, not able to get through. It's a tricky fight here. I mean, now he's fully HP, definitely has a chance. Dropping it down to BS6, Wyvern Standard Time, as we like to call it. We're trying to get enough time to get those 3 cure pots that need to go off. At least, you need to throw one because you may not survive.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. Even you see both. I mean, both of our runners are veteran players, and you see that they struggle on Chocobo's screen. You realize that this is if you were just a regular runner running this, you see the pain, you see the kind of devastation that could happen on a hook route, and this is one of the worst possible cases. There are other equally difficult, like a try dark imp setup boss. When you don't have all the tools, like an hourglass or something. So in this fight, I mean, you just have to survive the damage, and Edge is just not. Edge is taking it like a champ, but it's still not enough.
Look, so we got an X scale from that pink tail, which looks like Coffee's and Chocobos did not actually turn that in. So that's a nice piece of gear. Possibly out for a different strat to take on that DKC. Hard to say. There's not a whole lot of HP in that particular spot. But I think definitely having a second character that's able to survive that dark wave is a huge boon.
I think it's 6,000 HP at the spot, so I don't think it's worth trying to take on the DKC unless you're actually doing. You can do 6k damage in 2 hits. I think you can. I mean, with Iridia, you probably could, but but that's assuming she can survive the dark wave. And I'm not entirely sure Iridia has enough HP for this dark wave. And Iridia, kind of low on the HP growth totem pole. I think probably only slightly above Tella and Fu. Well, I mean, she does grow a decent amount of HP, but still, it's. But her starting HP is well, you start at 30, and you're hoping she gets enough HP to survive 500 damage worth of pain, and that's not something she gets pretty quickly.
No, I'm thinking more of on Possum side, be able to take out that DKC, finding that Axe Scowl. He's got a light sword, the bandanas that we found along the headbands and stuff we found along the way. Starting kit, I think Possum might just opt for, I'm just going to swing this fight away. And just whole day, my party will take care of the rest.
Yeah, so one of the things about the DKC fight that you don't really experience, because it's normally, because you don't usually do it, but if you actually did it in vanilla, so if you attempt to attack DKC, I think it just resets the like a flag that says that you take essentially more pain until you stop hitting him. Usually you don't survive unless you waste a lot of Cure 2 potions to do it.
Trust me, I remember that from vanilla. Like, I sat there, I was like, I'm gonna take the. I gotta fight this boss, and why? Dark wave. So like, why am I not able to get through this fight? And then by the time I'm just constantly hitting cure pods to stay up, and after the third one, he just goes, and just the fight ends. And I'm like, that's all I had to do was just wait for 3 waves. That's it.
Hey, at least we're not doing the actual original version where it is 65,000 HP. So have a nice day. You won't if you wanted to do it, I guess you could, but who would want to spend an hour or so just going at that DKC? That's probably not worth the pain that Pain Man's going to give to you. So yeah, this is, so we're fortunate it's the spot isn't that high level HP, but it's still more than enough to slow down any hook route runner that goes through this passage.
Yeah, Pain Man making his name a reality here. CNC
You know, you have to feel bad for the runner, and I know this from my own experience being a runner in these. You take a wipe, and all of a sudden you just fall into this, as some people call it, you just fall into a tilt. You just start second guessing yourself, and I really hope that CNC hasn't fallen into that tilt trap. Being able to shake off these wipes and just keep going. I really hope that happens, because it feels real bad.
Yeah, it's easy to feel bad. Like if I
It's
were
the low roll on Rydia for her to survive, to pop the cure off, and he's going to be
too
through the fight. Let's go.
That's good. Yeah, that is one less pain to worry about. He needs to do his speech. Thanks. Yes, thank you for giving me all the pain. Yes, justice. Blah blah blah. Yeah. All right, time for the real fight. That's
time, but yes, Rydia survived by 8 HP to be able to put that cure off.
But once in a while, you pray to the RNG gods, and it comes through. So the question is it 3 Hitman or is it Alt Gauntlet?
Well, is there going to be a little bit of a delay?
No, it doesn't look like delay. No, it's not it, unfortunately. But that doesn't help. See, if it were, it doesn't really help. I mean, either way. But it's fine. We still want Rosa to be the anchor. That's fine.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
But it just tells us the next blue robe we actually see is the gauntlet. There's still a few fights that we can see the robe before we fight it.
Yeah, that's if any of you watched any of the pre-matches, things you do early versus things you don't do. I think, ironically, that's actually what happened in Game 1 and Game 2. That made the difference. You do when you peak. Sometimes you peak early. You take the fight on. Might not be optimal. But the knowledge, you don't have to look for it anymore. Sometimes that is an ultra benefit. Sometimes you're just wasting time. You know, it's easier to be, you know, have 20/20 hindsight after the fact, watching the race back. But you don't know. It's the nature of the rando. So sometimes, you know, your decision can make a difference later on down the road. And for one match, it did make a difference.
In chat mentioning we can hear the sigh of Possum from here, and I can definitely hear his here we go.
Yeah, you gotta
but I think having that 5th character gives you the extra time that you need, as you're going to be able to get the cure potions off that you need. Here we go. First wave comes out. Well, I have to get a second turn before this 3rd wave comes out.
Yeah, this might be a little struggle if the turn doesn't come in. Nope. It's a reset.
Too late. Yep.
Yeah, there's some luck. So at this point, Possum will try to heal up some of them, at least the ones that will have the most HP, or do a little bit of grinding. Looks like this will be a grind. Oh no, let's switch anchors. Now that is an interesting decision.
Oh,
Let's grind.
It's a grind. I saw him turn on encounters. He knows he needs a little bit more HP. Then he gets the exact same first encounter that CNC got. Wow! Talk about parody.
This seed has jokes, and it's playing one on both our runners. So Possum has his time. There'll be probably I forgot, I didn't peek the boss on the other side, but looks like it's worth going up the tower. Especially we do have the tower key, so we don't have to worry about making another trek up here.
Yeah, I mean, top of tower is an objective. We've got an edge, we've got, you know, headbands, we've got enough gear to be able to take on pretty much whatever at the top of tower. You've got the tower key, like let's go right up the tower. Let's get this done. We're right here. We don't have to come back. And the greatest thing, since we have the tower key, we get put right back into the Enterprise and never have to trade our airship again.
That is the nice thing about every Enterprise. We leave the trash airship and underground. That's essentially comes down to.
We don't have to worry about the Troyan Parking Authority.
If only the Falcon had, like, you have to get the drill on it, and like you couldn't leave here without it. But you know, logic doesn't allow for that. We can escape that because, you know, magically the Enterprise comes through somehow, even though the hole isn't open yet. Somehow it's just
Sid
magic.
just installed some high-powered cannons on it to be able to blow his way through it. That's what it is. But here in the tower battle, we're finding a heroin robe, crystal ring. We got a pass.
Basically some gear for our mages to take advantage of. Also dragon resistant gear, which always is a plus, especially given the flex that we're not an insignificant number of bosses are dragons. You kind of want to be able to not get punished by them. They're just
There's only 2 dragons out in the boss pool. There's technically 3, but we already saw one of them in Dark Elf. We've got Wyvern and Pale Dem. D-Lunars are because they also take extra from fire because they're undead. But you can also frog them with the Toad strats with, just having them cast breath on any walled character.
At least we have 2 opportunities on Possum's side to survive Dark Wave. Unfortunately, both did not roll. See, that's what happens. You're gambling life by hoping RNG praises you.
This DKC has been a pain. Supposed to be. It's really been painful. But Possum here going in for round 2 gets high rolled again. Why, DKC? Why do you have to be so painful here?
Well, let's help negating some of the pain that Chocobos is coming with, that had with it. So I don't know what the DKC count is, but DKC is probably a touchdown's worth of wins at this point.
Yeah, and Palom finally survives the wave, so Possum's going to be able to get the curatives off he needs. And he'll be through and greeted by the Water Hag.
Yeah,
and then Choco going for route. No, took out the Magus Sisters. He's going up to the top of the tower here.
I mean, when your relief is the boss after this, I mean, it says a lot. Sometimes, and in some cases, if you're it's new, if this kind of combination is new, you can also do a safety save in between these 2 fights. If you're unsure, you're able to fight off what's next. So in this case, we know what it is, and there's no problem for Possum. But still, sometimes the safety isn't bad.
I mean, you look at Palom, he's 26. We've got enough power with our party, and with it being Water Hag, it's just all right. When do I take out Rosa here? Keep my anchor. But we've got Edge up here with a Rune Axe just shredding that Azura. Sayonara, goodbye. Give us the key item, please, and thank you very much.
The heal zone didn't even do much. Like the spell spot power at this spot, even at the spot where the Magus Sisters were, are pretty abysmal. So, yeah, the mages need not apply to be part of the bosses of the tower, unless you're a runner, which you welcome their existence here.
Oh yeah, you even welcome something like CPU up there. It looks like there's another heroin robe up there, so you got a double heroin robe. Because up at the top of the tower there, if you see, CPU, the Globe 199 can generally be quite dangerous, but top of tower, you can just walk it off.
I mean, we have a party of mages and Edge. I mean, if you stick on some Stardust Raws and Charm Staffs, then he can be a mage, sure. But if that's only if you decide to give him. But I think both the runners will obviously decidedly go for they just swing with the fences with whatever weapons that are available in the seed.
Yeah, here comes the question: does Possum go straight up the tower since we have it, or do you take the chance, get a little bit of extra power, and just get your forge out of the way and see what's in the shop there? And there's our magma key.
I think for routing, the answer is probably not. Probably on the way out or towards Dwarf. Like, you maybe consider it. Right? it's really much anti-route. If you really need the power now, then you'd go get it. But I'm thinking Possum's not going to do it. And yeah, Possum's not going to do it.
Yeah,
Not yet.
Straight up, yeah. I can definitely see the argument for that. Like my counterpoint to that would be like, you've seen a blue robe. You can easily you have the darkness in hand, so you can just spy the first boss of dwarf when you're down there checking, hit the Fame Arch, and kind of end with that whole sylph and tower before you go back above ground, because you have the pan and the tower key. You're not worried about trying to find any one of those key items before going to those locations.
And depends on what key items we get next that determines if Possum may go to the Sylph Cave. I think from the previous matches, Sylph Cave is still top of the list, but with there's always a little if you, especially with tower key incentive, then you're always going to diverge there. But I mean, there's also visiting Fame March and just having to get the freebie, get your free key items sometimes is pretty popular thing to do.
And here's the other thing: is Possum's actually going to have 10 key items when he leaves this tower.
I just have to count just to say sure, but I think that sounds very that key is on the way out.
Yeah, Magma Key is going to be number 10 on the way out. He's got 2 key items on Coffees and Chocobos with that darkness and adamant.
Yeah, the pass does not count as a key item. Just a reminder, because things, Z things. Z reasons too.
Z reasons. Is that what we're going with?
What would you like to? What would you like?
I mean, the fact that if you look at vanilla, it's the one item out of everything here that you can actually purchase. It's a quality of life item, is what it is.
It is. You don't need it, but for a lot of runners, it's nice to have, because you don't have to do the walk to Z from the top of LST if you don't have to. So I don't know. I'm definitely quality of life for sure.
We got a sad Ruby at the Warrior's chest, because we're never checking that character in Kaipo. And it's an exit out of Fame Arch there with the Sparkle and the dolls.
All the Sparkles.
Don't care.
All the Sparkles are all the LST bosses. So I'm trying to remember if we've seen any of them so far.
We haven't. We haven't seen any LSD bosses yet.
We don't care either, because we're not looking for them. But
right, there may have been one in Waterfall. I'm not 100% sure if there's a Sparkle there or not.
I think both of us haven't even peeked that, right? So
CNC did. CNC peeked Waterfall. I think Possum peeked it when he was raising the hovercraft, because right after he checked Mist Cave, which was Dims.
So the boss checks proven empty, but I mean, that's why boss hunt can be problematic. It's nicer for runners, if they just happen to be in our path, in our just path of destruction. But if they're out of the way like package, see it, we're not looking for you.
Yeah, now here comes the thing for the big choice for CNC is, do you go Baron or do you go Ordeals? You're going to go to the Pan to do Sheila 1 and 2. You're still looking for the Darkness, Twin Heart, Birth Crystal, all of those key items. So you're going to go there, and it all depends on where do you go from Fabul. You go straight south to Ordeals, or do you make a dip over to Baron?
Ordeals sound better because you have 3 chances, because you still both have 1 key item. K summon is not on, so Odin's spot doesn't matter for the purposes of key item, but you can check for the essentially the 3rd boss in that spot. So I mean,
but Baron also has a character with it too, and CNC is at 4 characters right now.
Yeah, CNC is probably more in a more dire situation, hoping to get Darkness, but we know where Darkness is, and it's on our deal. So whatever, let's take it to complete the Pan check. So might as well. There's 2 opportunities, key items. Hopefully, be one of the things that is required. So like Earth and Darkness, Earth and Harp, maybe.
Oh yeah, if you find one of those 2, you just pop over to Troy and you do those. Like, yeah, we got Earth Crystal. At this time, CNC is going to be going straight up Earth Crystal. Already seeing what Dwarf 1 is. So doing Zod's going to give you the knowledge of Dwarf 2. You have 2 extra bosses you haven't seen, 2 characters, and a key item. So I definitely can see that being the play instead of going to Ordeals or Baron at this point. Then it comes to, do you do Baron or Ordeals? You're sitting right in front of Baron after doing Zod.
You might as well route it in. You might as well. I mean, if you're committing to Zod, you're doing Baron most of the time. So it's a great route decision because it's automatic. The airship is played right in front of Baron after the completion of Zod. I mean, it's easy enough and it works out. And it might be worth looting. I'm not at this point in the sea. It's probably not worth looting, but I could be proven wrong. And Chocobos decide no looting.
No, don't need the loot. I mean, you got 2 heroine robes. If you check the pink tail, he's got an axe cowl as well. You really don't need much more than that. With the high level gameplay that these runners will have at the end, these runners can do low level strats. We've got healers to do so. We've got mages to nerf stuff at the end. So I don't really see much more looting for either of these runners except for crap chests, which have a possibility of being a key item or a really, really nice item.
I think it's worth pointing out, knowing that we know the information we have. If you're like in matches like this, where you like if you stumble onto something really important really early in competing against a top tier runner, typically it doesn't mean you have the advantage. You would call it a timer between how long it takes for that runner to finally last location that thing. Darkness, Mount Ordeals is a popular last location in this flag set, and when you consider that, and so when a runner of Possum or Chocobos caliber does their thing and then last locations it, so that timer is for you to complete the seed as quickly as possible. You have an advantage, but at that timer is really short and can disappear pretty quickly with just a few mistakes.
Yeah. We have good old CPU here at Zot 1. Possum's going into the back of Sylph. Gonna take on the Poison Treasury. Re-equipping Pal with all the stat boosting gear we found along the way to get those quakes off and make sure we actually don't take any extra damage and have a party wipe here.
Yeah, Quake is, I think, slightly faster, but it's really just the MP consumption. You don't want to be needlessly spending ethers for Iridia if you don't have to. So
yeah, I think Leviathan may have just a slightly faster cast time, but the animation itself is faster than Leviathan because you don't have to worry about summoning up Leviathan, then Leviathan casting his wave. It's about half the time in animation, so saving time where you can, knowing which spells to use where.
It's a small optimization, but it's a small thing, but for runners, it's the most important thing. It's an optimization they will take and they will do it quick. They will use it to their advantage whenever possible.
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely, it's one of those things you got to make those small optimizations gain seconds where you can. If you can make up 10 seconds every fight, you're taking on 6 fights. Hey, you made up a minute. And we got a mop. Do we take the mop?
I think that's a yes, and because it's probably Iridia, because you don't want to learn Nuke. You want Nuke. You want the free
trade
Nuke.
out the Yang. You trade out the Yang for the mop. Oh, never mind. Trades out the Iridia.
You want
the Yang.
Well, you want to slingshot Rosa. Yang is the anchor, as he doesn't serve that much use as flag set. Unfortunately, I mean he's one, a restricted character, but two, he's dependent on levels. Mages are dependent on levels, but we have Omnidex, so you can make anyone a berserker. You don't, and Yang as a berserker with Omni he's not ideal. So
yeah, because with his damage calculation, he doesn't look at the attack stat of any weapon. He just looks, what's the accuracy on it? Does it give me any strength? That's all I care about.
Yeah. So if you don't, I mean, the only thing that actually works for Yang in Omni is bow and arrows, because there's no penalty. So a short bow is essentially the same as Artemis in the sense of attack power.
Yeah, you just get the extra stats.
Yeah, that's about it. Well, then you have to factor in the accuracy, in which case the bows still be bows. Artemis still better than short bow. So yeah, that's
yeah.
So that's but hey, if you wanted to use a harp on Yang, go for it.
I mean, I always like, sneak glitching a harp on Yang, because therefore we can have some good old sweet chin music.
And back row glitching, but we have Omni, so we can. Sweet. You can actually do that for Tella, because Tella, doesn't, even though not able to flex it, but like staves, and rods, they're not back row glitchable. So that's the other source for a character that might use it if you wanted him to harp all the things.
And so looking at some of the items that we got here from the actual Poison Treasury, it looks like we got an Avenger, we've got a Dragoon Lance from the Toad Lady, we got a white shirt. So we get some really, really good gear out of this Poison Treasury. Once we got a Staros Rod from Hawk and Young.
Yeah, it's hard to go unnoticed in the Sylph Cave. I mean, the trap chests roll under a different system. They're not capped. I'm hoping someday we'll be able to cap it a little bit. But right now, they can get all the really good stuff, and that's all your real power come from.
Possum, paging Possum. Did you forget about the forge you have at hand? Did you forget?
I think in a rush to do something else. Maybe probably was there a save scum, because that's the only thing that we do. And there's a massa for unfortunately not a good weapon in this flag set. Best weapon for Edge normally, but you're on the same power level as a fire sword or earth hammer, really, and that's and if you've used an earth hammer just by itself, it's not a great end game fight boss weapon.
And here, Coffee and Chocobo finally doing ordeals. Only has Baron and Dwarf on the table. So doing ordeals before anything else. Gonna find that Darkness Crystal, and then it all depends on where he goes from there. What do you start looking at bosses? Do you do the trap chest? You've got a couple of key items you're looking for here. More than likely going to be doing the hair dryers. That's almost a given in this flag set, because at this stage in the seed, you can definitely take it out very quickly. And it's something you can do before getting the character, having to walk down the LST.
I think in terms of indirect routing, it might work up for Coffee Chocobos if ignoring what's left on the Earth to do, just going to the moon, immediately doing Cave Valley. We'll definitely do hair dryers. I mean, it's all at that point. It's like one step away from getting from go mode at that point, because still there's. I think we'll pick up the adamant on top of no, that's not top.
The moon.
It's the moon. It's in the hairdryer's chest. So yeah. So it's just one key item away. So it's not that far. So maybe worth gambling. Like just hoping for the blue robes to show up. Maybe going for a quick giant, hoping maybe it's in the element spot. So that's still on the table. So not completely hopeless, even though it says you think maybe Chocobos is ahead. No, Possum's ahead by a lot, so something has to go Chocobos' way, really, to actually get back in this race.
I mean, we say ahead, but if you look at what's happened, I mean, CNC's done Earth, and I think Possum did the Fame Arch with the Warrior's Chest. So if not, I mean, CNC's done that over Possum. So it's really hard to say who's ahead in checks because they're right about equal. Yes, Possum's going to be in objectives ahead here, but Calburn, that's not what you want to see.
It's great trash. We've increased our trash capacity in this seed. It's wonderful.
Yeah, Cole giving us the good old burn. Hey, we heard you like really nice weapons. How about I not give you one?
I mean, it could be worse.
I mean, the only thing that could be just as worse as Calburn is scrap. Like, here's the leftovers from me making the Calburn for you.
There's a few others on the table.
In this flag set, yes, yeah, the bow or arrows, yes.
Tiger fangs, are the Perseus bow. You know, weapons that while Omnidex is on, not exactly full tier quality. So the amount of trash opportunities actually increased in a way.
Oh yeah, with the Omni flag, yeah, the amount of trash items that we get from Cole increases, but just the regular without Omni, like the tours are Calvert and Scrap, and it's just, come on, man. I gathered these items for you. You could have given me something better than a terrible weapon or the leftovers from that weapon when you're making it.
But at least if you're throwing it, it looks like the shuriken, like that throw animation. You can't, like in Omnidex, you can, like, the shurikens are usually not equipable, but they look like they're animated the same way. It's cute.
They're animated the same way. The attack power is their actual attack power that you use, and they also give you the back row. So it's another available item to back row you in this flag set. Instead of having to equip a bow and an arrow, you can just, hey, I found a shuriken. Let me just equip that. Boop, back row.
And Coffee Chocobos gonna probably do hair dryers, probably check the character at the altar. I mean, at this point, it's minor routing efficiencies are kind of left on the table.
Yeah, looks like Possum's gonna be checking the first boss of Dwarf here. May see that it's a free boss with King Queen Evelyn. May take it out. May not. Nope. Never mind.
It's fine. It's not interested. It's fine. But looks like Possum's probably gonna end up on the moon based on what's left. I mean, there isn't much to do. Might as well do cave value. If cave value has all gauntlet, well then the seat is more could be coming to a close much quicker than you expect. So
yeah. I can definitely see Possum making see our runners making a save here on the Earth. We still have, the elements spot and the eyeball. Going back to the giant any particular time, it can be a hard choice to make. Like, when do you go to the giant? Do you do it right away? Do you do it later? It's a hard thing to choose. And maybe after doing cave value here, not seeing the gauntlet, may go, well, let me check a location that not a lot of runners like to check, because it's a long walk there. Do you have warp to get out faster if it's there? Get one key item versus this moon where you've got all of these checks here.
So it's really like, do you want to do the LST or not? So I think runners will probably try to do many things as possible to avoid doing the LST altogether. So I think, as a matter of course, you might as well do that before doing the LST, especially because that would be major time saver when it hits. So it's a bit. So and we're only essentially one objective away. And the boss is Big Flag, and this will be a tough fight because this spot, just like King Queen Evelyn, Bahamut's spot also not curated properly. So yeah,
this fight's gonna hurt. As we see Fu taking 2 hits and going, I'm gonna take a nap. With Possum getting up, starting to get the blinks up, blinking up the Palom. Probably gonna be using Quake strats, so it can zerk up that edge, and it actually has the Avenger on, so it doesn't have to zerk them up. But you can use Palom to keep those arms down with Quakes.
There might be an issue with Coffee and Chocobo if the Zerk glitch hits with the edge of the Avenger. Oh, no, it doesn't have the Avenger, so
yeah, it doesn't have the Avenger, well, at least equipped. Maybe he didn't do the. I thought he did the back of Sylph.
I'm pretty sure both of them did the back of Sylph. Maybe equipped it on a different character. It's hard to tell. It doesn't matter now.
CNC did not do the poison treasure. I thought I saw him down there. He may have just been doing the Toad Lady at the time. So I mean, Possum's got a spoon and an Avenger under his belt right now, where CNC does not have that.
That's a major power difference. The spoon itself is a major power difference. The Avenger, I mean, the best automation for your Zerkers is Avenger. No matter how or when you get it, even if it's on a cane, it's a sweet swinging weapon.
It's a really nice, as we like to call, angry stick. It gives some decent stats, has a mediocre attack power, and you could just start a fight and just let him go. You don't have to worry about anything. Look, there's a boss. Go.
Well, there's a few bosses that it's not effective against.
No, like DKC or Golbez, but when those fights come up, you kind of feel a little. They come up and you're just like, "Aw, why did this boss have to be here, man?"
Ooh, that's an unfortunate wipe, and Possum completes defeating Baiga at Bahamut. So looks like Possum is gonna do the LST and not check Giant, I guess, or maybe save Scum before that, because you at least save. I don't think Possum is saved, so probably save before making that, even if it's a save Scum, if that is even attempted, or peek the Mer Altar, which is a popular thing because it's one and done, as that route has also trap treasure chest on the way.
So we're coming to the same thing we've seen before in these runs, where it's you come down to one key item and Gauntlet. And it comes down to routing the move. Do you do top down? Do you bottom up? Do you just face check mode? And I think in Possum's boots, we're in a face check mode. We've only got 3 key items out there that gate 3 losses. That's where the gauntlet could be. But I think Possum's one of, like, right now, he's just in a face check mode. Just check the boss, not it. If it's something quick, like guards, I'll take it. But other than that, if it's like Golbaz or D-Loon or something, it's just like, nope, I don't want to take time to take this fight. I'm just going to reset it.
That's a free fight, but not interested.
Never mind. Like, I guess, never mind.
I think the math, Possum's math is suggesting doing the face check. I would still be trying to be more thorough, at least, even do the trap treasure chest. Even trap treasure chest, even if that doesn't get you anything of value, but at least verify it's out of the pool, as all the wonderful trap chest with Bimmy and Jimmy at large. I mean, you kind of want to look at them, but
Possum has said this in the past. If he has Stone on a Black Mage at this point in time, he said this in the past. He does not trust off-slot Stone, and some of these trap encounters, like the carry Warlock chest, yes, you can stone them, make the fight quick, but he's stated he does not trust off-slot Stone. He's had many issues with it in the past. He's not even gonna take the chance.
So I can understand that logic, but I personally prefer off-slot Stone. I prefer Stone even on a Tella. Yes, that old man. And he's not even allowed in this flag set. With a Fu or the Stone, so Stone has a spell accuracy of 30%. His natural wisdom is 40. You gain bonus spell accuracy so every 2 points of wisdom is a percent of accuracy. So that 40 becomes wisdom becomes 20% additional spell accuracy. So Stone is a 50-50, and I'm not a gambling man, but I see 50-50, and if you stack some more wisdom, it's a little bit more than 50-50, and even an off slot, I like my chances. 50-50 is fine.
Yeah, and we have an Odin here. Like, this is probably going to be one of the Moon Altars we do, because it's 2 checks here. Where every other one is just 1, and Odin's a very easy fight to get through. The answer was, yeah, Joffrey's just found the adamant there at the hairdryer's chest. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what this alt gauntlet or twin heart is. And it would be a seed that has many, many jokes continuing on if the alt gauntlet is sitting at twin heart. To be a true 7 out of 7 seed to make this game 3 even better.
Oh,
there's the twin heart.
And there we go. Off they go. Depending on how Chocobo decides to route this, I don't think his check just got here. So it's a decision between immediately going down to the ribbon room or checking the offset.
I mean, here CNC going straight down. Is it going to be Trap Chest or Lunar Deises first? What's he gonna do? Is this a counterplay to Possum doing top down? Going, I know that opponent's gonna do top down. I need to go bottom up first to counter that. And in this particular case, it's gonna be the play. But is it gonna be too late? Is he gonna be able to make up enough time?
It's unfortunately, even if you do the get hits on the ribbon room, still has to turn in for forage. That is because you just picked up the adamant rock on the moon. So that essentially is an additional buffer of time that Possum gets because of how Possum has rode it due to circumstances beyond his control. So just on that very minor deviation is all the difference here. And it's not something CC's fault or Possum willing it to happen. It just happened that way.
And we've got CNC taking on Bimmy and Jimmy here. Not doing quad 9s to Bimmy because, well, we've got a holy sword on edge, and the blue dragons resist the holy elemental.
Still doing double damage, yeah. Still doing over double damage, but not quad damage. If it was just a Dragon Whip plus some non-elemental weapon.
Yeah, but still doing quite a bit. And that's a nice influx of experience here for this party. And it's time for DJ Spoony B to play us a song. It's time for us in the booth to be quiet, or else the restreamer will mute us. So enjoy the music, everybody. It looks like it was a slow tune of a Chocobo theme there. And we get a package here from the Twin Heart. CNC did see the Odin there at Ribbon and decided to reset out. So, I mean, it could be Gauntlet here, which it's not. We didn't have a long delay, so we just have a Karate Man. Meanwhile, Possum has the crystal in hand, has the pass. It is right here at Troya. Do we all know what's going to be happening here shortly?
we toss the pass into the black hole and get dark matter. I don't know. It's
something like that. I think chat's a little tired. I mean, it is late night here. I mean, for me, it's about 11:30, so I'm definitely a little bit tired right now.
I mean, it's that time of the night where we have to we have that fight that often comes with many of these seeds. And it's a randomizer. We like to see other things that appear in front of our faces, other than some sort of blob that shows up normally in a vanilla fight. But this is not vanilla. It's a randomizer. So, but is that question we have to ask though tonight? Would you do the honors?
Yeah. Let's see. It's can it do my taxes? Does it have a hat? Is it cute? I think I might be doing these in the wrong order. Oh yes, that's right. It's whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
It's always a fun sight to see, and yeah.
600 different sprites in the pool. A majority of them done by one of our amazing, workshop helpers, Scala Kitty. Amazing sprite work. Some were done by Boardface, pulled from other games, but a good amount were done by Scala.
Yeah, that is a load, and let's see. Don't know who this is, but I'm sure some will point it out.
Yeah, I want to say I've seen this sprite before. I can't remember where he's from. Wise 2. Okay. Well, definitely has a hat. Don't know if he can do my taxes. I don't think this boss is cute. Do you think this boss is cute?
There's a mask. It's hard to. I can't tell, but it can do your taxes. It can slice your taxes in half. That's at least your tax paper.
Oh, yeah, there we go. But if my taxes are split in half, do I still have to? I don't know if I can tell if my taxes are being sliced in half.
I mean, they could pay someone, but then bill you for taping it all back together. I mean, that could happen, I guess. But this is gonna be a quick fight. You have two Zerkers. You almost don't care who it is really, and swing away. And as long as they do a reasonable amount of damage, you're good. Palom probably not too long for this world. Might not survive this big bang, even though it's nerfed.
Looks like I was wrong, and CNC actually did take on the Odin there, got the Twin Harp, turning forge, and is going into the harp right now. And with possible high-level gameplay, is reflecting off, I believe it's lit 3s onto Rydia here. Knows that his party's not doing enough damage to be able to go through with only seeing two big bangs. So lit 3 being one of the faster animations. Using the Jura to heal there.
I think
more than likely going to see a second big bang here.
I think Lightning has probably one of the fastest animations. It's the same. It's like I swear it's the same sound. It probably is. But that's plenty of damage, I think. But want to speed it up, you probably needing every edge, with edge on the screen, of course, to just speed up the fight. So I mean, you might as well make them do something. But it's rocks falling, and
there's rocks. This is GG coming here shortly. And there's a snap, crackle, boom. Darmus is down. Possum takes game 3 and moves on. GG's. We will see if we can get Possum in here for an interview. One heck of a race. Well, and actually, we've got both runners coming in here. GG's. We're going to wait for music to play here real quick. It's a great rendition. So, we'll wait until after the music plays.
All right, well. GG's Possum and Coffees and Chocobo. One heck of a race y'all put on for us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. It takes two to make it a race, and I think it was a hell of a series. Looking, kind of peeking into the stream right now, looks like we're basically a Z fight apart, which is more or less the story of all three of these matches, and
Yeah.
I'd expect nothing less from us.
Yeah, GG's Possum, and congratulations. And at this point, hope you take it all. As I was talking to you in the race room, that bacon wipe was a little nasty. I think between that and a couple of questionable execution things, I feel like it's shades of your game one just crept into my seed and my play tonight.
I think one of the biggest things that happened to both you both had issues with DKC at King Queen Evelyn. I think Chad, you mentioned like we heard a viable sigh from Possum when that showed up. What were y'all's thoughts on that pain man there?
Oh, you had me spooked real quick there. I thought I wasn't muted. Sorry. It's like, wait, an actual sigh? Sorry, go ahead, CNC.
My thoughts personally were, I hope there's not a darkness crystal somewhere on the overworld where I could get some moon experience to take this on, number one. And number two, why did I make Rosa my anchor?
Yeah,
But
the
I
Rosa
mean,
anchor is exactly what I did too. I feel that.
yeah, you got those orbs that, the Leviathan and the Bahamut orb to crush everything on the overworld. You've got Edge, and you're not making your Porum your anchor. That's your source of exit early on, so there weren't many choices.
Yeah, I could have chosen to go with Palom from the moon because I had done ordeals before Hook, but
That is true.
that, like, I am so much more comfortable with Quake than Leviathan or Bahamut for Sylph that I was like, no, I'm not doing that. We're going to keep her as the anchor. Tried to do hair dryers, failed my buffer, as it would be with Leviathan, and then everyone died but Rydia in that fight. So I missed the XP that would have put the other characters over the top, and then had to take the ground fights anyway. And it was like, man, this stupid DKC. But my thought at that point was, I know you and everyone else hates ordeals, so I figured we were both stuck there, at least for one, maybe two fights where we had to take an encounter. And I was like, well, that's what I'm banking on. That's what my hope of hopes is, and it turned out to be slightly fortunate on this one.
I think at the end of our marathon, we stumbled and bumbled across the finish line, and you just made that last lunge.
I think that was one of our questions. Like, so possibly your Rydia did not survive for Hobbs, and you decided to do Fabul. Was there a reason for like Porum not having experience or getting Rydia some more levels? Is that why you did ordeals early on there?
I wanted Zerk and I wanted Leviathan, and I wanted not just one cast, but enough so that when I got to Eblin, that I would be able to have two casts, so I could go and take out the Staleman Skull as well as the Black Cat Lamia without having to tent up or leave or do something weird. This was, of course, before knowing that Edge was in Baron, before knowing the Darkness Crystal existed, but it was that XP routing that I wanted to make Eblin more efficient. So I was realistically thinking like 3 checks ahead as to how I wanted to route in the Overworld XP. For Rydia's MP, not even her HP or levels inherently, just the actual MP part. That's where ordeals came in for me.
Did Mount Hobbs push that in that direction, or did you made your mind up at some point?
It pushed it a lot more in that direction. I might have done it anyway because I wanted Zerk on Porum, and she learns it after the first fight on ordeals if she lives through Hobbs and Fabul defense. But with Rydia needing the levels as well, that was kind of the nail in the coffin, if you will. Had she survived both, maybe I do Antlion and Baron instead, and try to get like Exit and Zerk off of those, and maybe enough for a second Leviathan cast. But I knew ordeals for sure would get me there. Can do the first 2 fights, take the XP and run if the third fight is garbage or not required or no key item. So that's my logic with ordeals with heavy mage parties. The Edge and Baron was honestly a punish, because if Edge is there, you never go up ordeals until later. And I mean, maybe in this seat it's not a direct punish, obviously, the way things turned out, but in the moment it felt like a punish, even getting the Darkness Crystal.
Yeah,
it was
that
kind
was
of weird.
that was kind of my thought too. I did the Hobbs and I went for early Fabul, and then into Antlion, and I think from there I went to do the freebie Flame Dog and Baron in before I went into before I went down the hook route, and I didn't even think about ordeals at that point because hey, Edge, HP, power.
Right. Yeah, there's literally only one thing that can stop you, and well, we both found it.
Oops. Yeah, I did a couple of attempts at getting the Stalemen, or not Stalemen, but the Blademen and Sorcerer, and Porum died at the end of that, so only Rydia got some levels, and I had to go back. I found the 3 Mad Ogres, and I found another Blademan, Sorcerer, and eventually, Rydia got through and survived with her 550 HP to toss a Cure 2 on Edge.
Yeah, survived with a 9 HP. We were watching that. It's like, yes, Rydia survived 9 HP. Let's go.
And it's like, technically she can live, and I didn't want to get into another grind fight because that was more time than, what, 3 or 4 resets.
Yeah, I think I had like 560 on Palom, 567 I want to say maybe. And the first 2 he took like 597 and like 604, and I was like, can we relax a little? I know this rolls as low as like 505 and up to like 620. Like, can we get a mid-roll, maybe slightly less than mid-roll, not these, obscene high rolls? It's like, whatever, man. So, yeah, slam the reset button, walk out, walk back in, rinse, repeat, eventually get through and be on our way. But, yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do there. It's a literal HP check, and it's one of the very few instances that it happens in this game.
Hey, DKC was flexing. He's powerful in this flag set.
That's true. That Dark Wave is no joke. We normally think of it as kind of a meme from Pain Man the Enemy, but DKC on your team can do the same thing in this. So, we didn't get to do it in this seat, but DKC sure got us. You're not wrong about that.
Yep.
I don't have any other questions for either for our runners. Do you have any questions there, Deathlake?
I guess the only question I would have for Chocobo, like, would you have made the same kind of thing if Rydia took a spill early on Hobbs and didn't get enough experience? Would you have trekked to ordeals to get her online?
I might have, because that is a lot of early XP. I might have peeked Baron in just to make sure. I think at that point I had already looted. I had looted Eblon, and I got a ton of great armor out of it. I think there's a blade shirt, or a black shirt, a samurai armor, and then there was a light sword in the Damsian basement. So I was set on equipment.
Nice.
So yeah, that would have been a good Kickstarter. Might have been a little punished in that Luge fight. That was slow. If there wasn't a solid one shot on either of the Luge forms. But it's about a 50-50. I mean, this flag set, there's a lot of coin tosses you can make along the way, and it just ends up the way it does.
Oh yeah, the seed had chokes, and you both perform admirably under the circumstances. But I like that small like fate and RNG probably tilted a certain way. So at least in terms of finding darkness for Possum, maybe I could. That's just me, but I'm not sure you both feel the same. But but still good GGs for both of you. Those still really well-run seed.
Absolutely, GGs to Possum, and I hope you, like I said, I hope you run the table, and good luck in the next round.
Yeah, thank you, CNC. Again, hell of a series, man. I've wanted this matchup for the better part of like 3 years, ever since basically joining, and we were potentially going to face off in ZZ3 before I got trounced by Dia 1 round early, and was happy that we finally got this match, because you were one of the last greats that I hadn't been able to play in the community. So just super stoked that we could get it done, and GG's again, dude. You are a hell of a runner, and certainly expect to see you in whatever the next event is, kicking more butt.
Thank you, but I gotta hit you with a bad pun. It sounds like your quest is over, and that really worked out for you.
You might not be able to hear me clapping, but I'm going to talk and clap and hope that it comes through the microphone, because that was beautiful.
Again, GG's to both of you. Heck of a race, heck of a series of races, to put it at that.
Thank you again. And thank you to everyone behind the scenes. Dave on Restream, Deathlike and Tybalt on comms, Frankie on tracking. Appreciate all y'all doing the hard work while we just get to play the game.
Yeah, y'all are rock stars. Thanks for knocking it out of the park yet again.
All right. Well, chat, it's that time again. Again, to second what our runners had said, shout out to NG Dave for rolling this wonderful seed, putting on the show all together for us in the booth here to be able to do this for you. Deathlike, my co-commentator, and Frankie Bones, be sure to follow everything. And as well, follow these runners, man. They may be just thinking that they're just playing a game, but they are definitely putting on the true show here. So thanks again, and looks like, where are we going today, Deathlike?
We are going. I think we're going to send you off to a blind umpire who's running a 5-pound seed. Oh, so more Quake Hit in your diet. I can't be excited and a lot of fun commentating with you. We're
More Quake, more new.
yeah. And also I think there's still I guess there's still some races. I'm not sure if there's more races, but don't spoil the game, because
there is one more race going on before we leave. There is a race tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to be Pyre versus Judge Joe. So be sure to check that out. It's going to be on Free Enterprise. Actually, no, it's on Sunday. Not Saturday. It's on Sunday. But yeah, again, to repeat what Deathlike said, no spoilers from this race. Otherwise, we have a stack of newspapers. We've been storing them for a while. They roll up nicely, and they do kind of hurt. I've been smacked by one or two here and there.
So, and join the shenanigans on Discord. Yeah, that's the place to be.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. See you all next time.
See you all next seed.